First of all, welcome. My name is Anju, for those who haven't attended this class before. We're going to be looking at the second of the Four Noble Truths, which we started looking at last month. The Noble Truths are four. The first one is that suffering exists. The second is that there is a cause for our suffering. And the third is that there is a cure for our suffering. And the cure is the fourth one, which is the following the eightfold path. So we looked at suffering exists last month. And so this month, the second one is looking at the cause of suffering, which I'll read about as we get into our first posture. And our first posture will be lying down on either a block or maybe a cushion, something firm, or a bolster if you're in the studio and you have access to that. So if you bring the seat to the middle of the mat, feet on the mat on the ground, and then just roll down onto the spine. Just give yourself a moment or two to connect and let go to the ground. And then press into the feet and grab whatever it is, your cushions, your block, or your bolster. Lift up the hips and then slide that block underneath on the lowest level. Okay, that's good. And then we'll just wait for everything to relax downwards towards the mat. Maybe even tuck the shoulders down towards the waist a little. That's it. Finding a comfortable position. And just breathing in through the nose, exhaling from the nose. Maybe even sending that breath into the belly area right now. Inhaling into the belly so you feel this expansion. And then exhaling, letting the belly soften. So the navel's just dropping to a comfortable place. Inhaling, pressing the belly out, and exhaling, letting the belly drop. And just continue like this. If it feels good now, right here, you could try to extend the legs down the mat. Let the legs walk down. Just move the block and see if that feels okay. And if it's not comfortable for the lower back, you can always bring the feet back onto the mat and find that comfortable place. And once you're comfortable in this hip opener, this front hip opener, then just stay there and focus on your breath in your belly, in and out of the belly. And I will read a little on the cause of suffering from a book written by Bernie Clark called Yin-spired. So suffering exists because we cause it to exist. Remember that sensations are inevitable. Pain is a part of life, but suffering is optional. How do we cause suffering? The Buddha recognized that we do this in two ways. We cling to things that we find pleasant, and we run away from the things that are unpleasant. So these two reactions are called attachment and aversion. Okay, so aversions and attachments, these are connected to classic yoga, in which they're known as klishas or mental and emotional afflictions. That's it. So mental emotional afflictions, or we couldn't call these attachments or aversions. The first one of these, he explained that there are four kinds of these attachments or aversions, or what we might call things that we cling to, subjects that we cling to. The first of these is clinging onto maybe particular spiritual practice or routines, thinking that if we just follow the rules that will be suffice and we will be happy. Unfortunately, we do not have to look very far to see the damage caused by intolerant and strongly held religious or spiritual practices. Okay, so now we're going to leave this first posture by bringing the feet back onto the mat. Just noticing how the back is feeling. Pressing into the feet to lift up the hips and then slide away to one side, whatever was underneath the back. And then gently bring the whole of the back body down onto the mat. Wonderful. And maybe the intention for today could be to reflect on what is it that I'm clinging to? Or the other way, the aversion, what do I run away from? You can choose. Now let's bring the feet up, all the way up to the sky. Soles up to the sky. And then we're going to hug those knees into Apanasana. Hug the knees into the chest. Maybe even squeeze a little and cause a little bit of tightness and tension in this little small shape. And take 3 belly breaths now. Inhaling. Press the belly into the legs and the legs squeeze into the belly. Exhale, soften. 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhale, soften. 1 more. Inhale. And exhaling, soften. And then roll over to one side to come up into a seated position. Wonderful. Okay. Now we're going to take a seated Sukhasana. Sukhasana, where we cross the shins. Or Siddhasana, where the heels are in line with the mid-body. And just sitting upright for 1 minute. Closing down the eyes if that feels good. Relaxing the shoulders, both shoulders feeling heavy. Like the shoulder blades are sliding down the back. Back of the hands maybe resting on the legs. And we just maybe want to contemplate on whether we are clinging onto anything. What am I clinging onto? Or what am I running away from? And we'll be here for 1 minute. Making sure we go back all the way down to the belly for our breath. Inhaling expansion, exhaling contraction. Just noticing the breath, like a wave coming in and exhaling, the wave rolling out. 2 more breaths, inhaling. Noticing any holding, any clinging, and exhale, let it go. Okay, now we're going to blink open the eyes, or if you want to keep the eyes closed, you can make your way all the way into child pose, maybe with your eyes closed, and take your hands back towards your feet. Maybe let the head dangle or rest your head. Let the hips settle back as far as they will go. You could even take a cushion between the seat and the heels if that feels nice. We're going to be here for 1 minute, just letting the body drop groundward. Inhaling into that belly, even though it's tight and it's restricted. And then exhale, let everything drop, let everything go. And once you've found that comfortable position, you've reestablished your breath connection, maybe you could go back to the question, what am I clinging onto? Or what do I run away from? Attachments and aversion. For 2 more breaths. Okay, just coming slowly out of child pose, bringing those hands forward. And again, taking the seat back down, bringing both soles of the feet together. And we're going to not hold on to the feet, no clinging with our hands. We take the back of the hands and just let them drop. Maybe the forearms encourage the knees to drop open. Maybe the soles of the feet slightly part. And you can stay here upright, or you can curl over towards the feet, the head drops. And we're going to be here in butterfly pose for 2 minutes. So you can start somewhere at your edge, and then after 1 minute, I will indicate 1 minute has gone. You might want to go a little deeper. Soles together, folding or upright. Noticing right here in the body, is there anything, any parts that we cling to? Are we holding on to the legs, to the hips, to the lower back, or to the head? Exhale and allow the letting go. There's 1 more minute to go. So if you want to find a new edge, you may want to drop your head a little further. You may want to bear weight on the insides of the knees with your forearms, whatever it is. Maybe find your new edge. I'm going to take 2 more breaths, allowing gravity to draw us down. And then start to roll up through the spine, the lower spine, the mid spine, the upper spine, opening up the front of the shoulders. Bringing the hands to the outsides of the legs to draw the knees towards each other. Give yourself a little hug. And then we're going to come down onto the spine again. Seat towards the center of the mat. And then roll the spine down. Okay, just allowing the back to relax. Take both legs down the mat. Excuse me. And then we're going to bring the right sole and slide it on the inside of the left leg, up, 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 as far as it can go. A bit like a tree pose that we would do when we're standing. We're lying down as a tree. The arms can go above the head if you wish, or just keep them down by the sides of the body, away from the body, with the back of the hands on the mat. Fingers gently curling in. So this is a supine tree pose. We'll be here for 2 minutes. Noticing the shoulders, are they equally relaxed against the mat? Are they tucked down towards the waist and the chin slightly tucking towards the chest? The hips feeling heavy and grounded. And that gentle opening at the right front of the right hip, around the top of the right leg. Inhaling to notice if there's any clinging, any tension, any holding. Exhale. Let the wave, the exhalation, wash away tension. One more minute. Each breath helping us to notice any clinging or any running away from. And one last breath here. We're going to slide that right foot all the way down the inside of the left leg and just take a breath. We'll switch sides. Start to energize that left foot, slide the left sole up through the inside of the right leg as far up as it will go, and then just let it be. Notice any tension, any tightness, maybe in the buttocks, maybe in the legs. Exhale, let it go. We have 2 minutes to practice. Noticing tension, letting go of tension. Tension as if we might unconsciously be holding on to something. Maybe some sort of clinging. Maybe we're running away from really feeling in this left hip. By holding on. See what happens if we trust and let go. 1 more minute to practice noticing and letting go. Two more breaths. Okay. And then when those breaths are completed, we slide that left foot all the way back down the mat. Pick up the feet onto the mat, hug those knees into Apanasana. Hug the knees and the legs tight over the chest, over the belly. We're going to be here for about 5 or 6 breaths, inhaling into the belly. Exhale, squeeze and use gravity to draw the front body down into the back body and the back body into the mat. Inhaling, exhaling, drawing everything down. 4 more breaths, inhaling, exhale. Inhaling and exhale. Squeeze. Okay. And just releasing the feet back down onto the mat or onto the ground. We're going to take a supported bridge. So we're going to either use blocks or the bolt. Actually, if you use the bolster, you might want to use a block. Or you might want to go a little bit higher than before, where we started. So pressing down into the feet, lift up the hips, and maybe take the block onto the side edge. I think I wore the wrong pants today. So side edge or 2 blocks. And take it under the sacrum, the tailbone, right at the bottom of the spine. And you can keep the feet on the mat this time. So this is more of a bridge than a inverted plank shape. And allow that back of the hands to come all the way down. Maybe tuck the shoulder blades down towards the waist. And feel supported. You're okay, Jane. Do you want 2 blocks instead? You're going to stay with 1. That's fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah. Okay. So 2 minutes here. Just noticing in our supported bridge pose. Does it feel secure, or would you like to try 2 flat? Yeah? Yeah, just where the buttocks separate. Yeah. That's it. And you should feel fairly secure. Yeah? That's it. Okay, so once that comfortable position has been found, we can go back to the breath. Close down the eyes, let the back of the hands rest, and the fingers gently curling. The breath inhaling and expanding into the belly. Exhale. Allow everything to feel heavy and supported. Let it go. One more minute. Maybe noticing, once again, what am I clinging to? Maybe here there's some tension around the lower back, in the hips, maybe in the feet even. So let's see if we can let go and soften completely. If you want to, yeah, you can send the feet down the mat if it feels better to extend the legs. We have 2 more breaths here in our supported bridge. Okay. And then we'll be reversing. We'll be coming out of this pose by pressing down into the feet, lifting up the hips and taking away the blocks to one side. And release it back nice and slow, all the way down. Wonderful. Just taking a breath or two. And then rolling to one side. We're going to come up onto all fours this time, rolling over to the side. Make your way onto your hands and your knees. We're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees, and just press that tailbone upwards to downward dog. We're moving into swan pose now. We're going to pick up the right knee and bring it towards the right wrist. Okay, we can slide that left foot back as far as it will go. Keep the left leg in line with your left hip. Right knee to the right wrist. Yeah. And you have options here. You can twist in your swan. You can bring that right hip all the way down to the mat and left elbow across to the right, towards the right knee. And you can rest the head either on a block or on your left hand. You can stay here in twisted swan or regular swan, but sleeping. You can keep the right hip lifted, both hips are parallel, and then come down forward, down the center. So a regular sleeping swan with hips parallel, or the right hip on the mat, and you twist your left elbow over to the right knee. That's a twisted swan version. Okay, so either right hip on the mat and twist. You want to try that? Right hip all the way down, that's it. And then left elbow over to the right. That's it. Yeah, that feels quite different. So 2 minutes on each side in our swan. You choose which version feels good for you today. All right, hip comes down. Try and keep that left leg straight. And then twist the left elbow over to the right. And you can rest your head on the hand usually, or on a bolster or blocks. It's a little different to fold over that right inner thigh. And sometimes a twisted swan suits some bodies. Sometimes the regular sleeping swan suits a body. Every inhalation, noticing where you might be holding or clinging onto something. And exhaling, allowing the breath, the exhalation to gently assist in letting go. 2 more breaths. Okay, then we'll release the head and the left hand back over to the other side of the mat. Pick up the right hip, tuck the back toes to lift that back knee and go back to downward dog. Just taking a breath here. And then we'll switch left knee to the left wrist. Sliding that right leg back in line, keeping it in line with the right hip. So, regular swan, we keep that left hip lifted and we fold all the way down the center. Or twisted swan, we let the left hip come all the way down. We take the right elbow and across to the left side. Okay, wonderful. And once you are in your comfortable place, yeah, just as straight as it can be. That's it, as straight as it can be. Sort of pointing through those toes to the back of the mat. That's it. It won't go perfectly straight, no problem. And then, yeah, right elbow over towards the left. And just settling down, trying to find that place where we can settle the mind and the body, maybe even find stillness in the body. Stillness in the body, like the snow falls and creates a nice, still covering. Stillness in the breath, like the stillness after those winds blow everything around. And stillness in the mind, like how still the water can be on a lake. And in this stillness, are we clinging? What is it that I'm clinging to or running away from? One more breath here. And then we'll make our way back onto the hands, tucking the back toes. Sorry, no. This time we're going to bring the left hip down and swing the legs forward. Almost forgot. So caterpillar pose, we can either cross the arms under the legs, under the knees or thighs, and allow our legs to go as straight as possible, comfortably straight, but we're keeping the belly to the thigh connection. So go as far forward as your belly and legs will allow before they disconnect. If they're disconnecting, then draw the heels a bit closer. And then let the head go. We're curled up here for 2 minutes in our caterpillar pose. Noticing if you are able to let that head hang, feel those tendons, soft tissues, and the muscles around the neck, the shoulders, to soften, and feeling a comfortable stretch. as we let go of our heavy head. If you wish to slide the legs any further or feet any further forward, go ahead. We've got 1 more minute to go. You might even wish to take out the hands, the arms, and let the back of the legs open towards the ground. Noticing any tension, exhaling it away. Let it go. 2 more breaths in caterpillar pose. And then we're going to start rolling up lower spine, stacking the vertebra up from the mid spine, upper spine, roll open the shoulders. Okay, time to, we'll do a quick shoelace pose actually. So we did the half shoelace last month. You've got this option, right knee coming across somewhere over the left knee, or full shoelace where we bend the front leg also. So knees sort of stacking on top of each other. You might take a block for a seat if that sometimes helps you feel a little bit more comfort. Half shoelace or full shoelace. So we're stacking that right knee over the left knee. So take that right foot across as far as it will go. That's it. Yeah, send it over. Is there any more sending over? Aha, that's it. So once we're there, we can just allow the back of the hands to rest on the inside of that top leg. We're going to be here just for 1 minute. If anybody does want to try full shoelace, we bend that front knee. And we allow the legs to drop, both hips to drop, the shoulders to drop. And breathe. Exhaling away tension. Two more breaths. Okay. Blinking open the eyes, we're going to carry the right leg across. Just take a breath. Know that it's time to switch. So left knee across that right knee. And absolutely lovely. If this is an edge for you, then stay here. And some days it is, and it's enough. And some days you might want to try bending that front knee also. This doesn't work for me every day, but it seems to work today. So 1 minute. Let's settle in. Going back to the breath. 2 more breaths. And then we're going to blink open the eyes if we have them closed. Extend those legs out. To bring the seat onto the center of the mat, rolling down or coming down onto the spine again. To take a quick happy baby pose, squeeze those legs in, Apanasana, and then we'll either take the hands behind the knees or to the ankles or to the outer edges of the feet. Widen the knees, wider than your body, and then exhale. Encourage the feet down with your hands. Yeah, just allowing the feet to draw down, which will make the legs drop and the knees drop. That's it. Just allowing this release. Really lovely for the lower back. Okay, and then we're going to close those knees towards each other. Knees towards each other, and squeeze those knees into the chest, Apanasana, just before we release the feet all the way back down. And time for Shavasana, for our relaxation. So finding your way into your last pose, Shavasana. You can take any sort of support, any cushions for the eye, pillows for the eyes, or cushion for the head. Maybe use a blanket or a cushion. Cover yourself if you wish. And we settle in. We'll do about 5 minutes of Shavasana. I'll just read another paragraph. So there was 4 forms of this attachment and aversions that causes suffering. And the first one, as I read earlier, was this maybe thinking a particular spiritual practice or routine would be suffice. The second form of clinging is grasping certain views. These are the opinions we hold and the stories we apply to ourselves. We can be strongly attached to a particular self-view that, if it is damaged or lost, we are lost. Okay, so let's see if we can fully let go, making sure the feet are soft. We're not holding at the ankles or the heels, the toes, legs, around the knees. Everything feels relaxed, all the way up to the hips. The spine is comfortable, the back of the ribs softening into the mat. Both shoulders equal and balanced. The ears soft and relaxed, and also the skull and the brow. The eyes are very gently closed. We can begin to notice the breath once again, maybe the texture, the rhythm, maybe even the size and the length of your breath. Maybe notice the journey following the breath in to the nose and how the breath leaves the nose. And then maybe you can allow yourself to travel away from this outer world, traveling inwards to your inner space. With this intention of letting go, not clinging, letting go of our physical form, this body container, to travel inward. Maybe even come back to the question, what am I clinging to? Or what am I running away from? Noticing the mind activity lessening, your thoughts lessening, contemplating only on what am I clinging to, or what do I run away from? Noticing and asking, maybe even listening to any responses. Now beginning to notice your body container. Once again, notice the shape of your body on the mat. Bring your attention to the back of your eyelids. Start to notice and sense the light around you. With your next inhalation, take a full breath, full inhalation, exhale some of this energy into the toes, into the fingers. Start to move gently into the toes and the fingers. Noticing the hands and the feet, waking them up gently, and also the legs and the arms, starting to move into your body container once again. Taking any sort of movement or stretch that makes you fully alert and aware of where you are. When you're ready, bring the feet onto the mat, knees up to the ceiling, and then hug those knees into the chest, into your Apanasana shape. Sway side to side if that feels good. And then roll over to your left side. Take a moment here. Blink open your eyes. Adjusting to the light or the dimness in the room, wherever you are. And then coming up into an upright position. Bringing the hands down by the hips, sitting nice and tall. And then we'll gather up this energy around us into the palms. Send some out there to the universe. Bring some to yourself for pure thoughts, to your mouth for kind words, to your heart for compassionate actions. Namaste, everyone.